Bing Crosby was without a doubt one of the biggest music and movie stars of the 20th century. He had more than 40 #1 hits. More than a dozen times he was one of the top 10 box office stars in the country. He was an enormously likable figure, whether he was on the radio or in a movie or live on stage.
Born Harry Lillis Crosby on May 3, 1903, in Tacoma, Washington, Bing Crosby played in a band while studying law at Gonzaga University before moving to Los Angeles to try his luck singing for a living. Growing up, he was called Bing, after a favorite comic strip, and the nickname stuck.
After touring the vaudeville circuit, Bing Crosby met Paul Whiteman and joined his band. Then they hooked up with Harry Barris, and they formed the Rhythm Boys. And in 1930, the Rhythm Boys performed with one of the greatest jazz performers of the era, Duke Ellington.
Bing Crosby married actress Dixie Lee in 1930, and they eventually had 4 sons together. In 1931, Bing first appeared on the radio as a solo act and became an overnight sensation.
Bing Crosby's voice was so irresistible. Over the radio, the frequencies in his voice were enchanting to the audience. Everybody loved him.
Bing Crosby was one of the biggest radio stars of all time.
Bing Crosby pioneered the idea of pre-taping a show. He was one of the first performers in America to pre-tape his shows, and that allowed him to have shows that were filled with only the best bits from his live performances.
Bing Crosby's movie career starts really in earnest in 1932. He makes some musical comedies. Then in 1934, he makes Here's My Heart with Kitty Carlisle. In 1936, with Ethel Merman, he's in Anything Goes. And by then, it was very clear that Bing Crosby was about to be one of the biggest box office stars in the country.
In 1942, Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire co-star in this film called Holiday Inn. That movie launched the biggest song of Bing Crosby's career, White Christmas.
But what people don't know is that the song was originally written for those in California or the southern states who were nostalgic for the cold of the North. A White Christmas. That song, by the way, is one of the greatest all-time hits of all time.
Bing Crosby's film career reached its peak when he partnered with Bob Hope in The Road pictures. Started in 1940 with The Road to Singapore. And eventually they made 7 more with co-star Dorothy Lamour.
The Road to Singapore really turned him into an A-list star.
They were like the Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn of their time. They're always competing for women. But they had the buddy thing, the buddy movie vibe that works. And Bing was hotter than Bob.
Bing Crosby was a great actor, but he only won 1 Oscar, and that was for 1944's Going My Way as Father O'Malley, a character that was so beloved and so popular, it immediately spawned a sequel, The Bells of St. Mary's.
Going My Way must have been great escapism for moviegoers in 1944, looking for a 2-hour respite from news about what was happening in Europe and in Japan. And Bing Crosby just delivered really the best performance of his career.
Bing Crosby's musical White Christmas was the top-grossing movie of 1954 and reintroduced the public to its title song White Christmas, also a huge hit that year. In 1957, Bing married a second time to actress Katharine Grant and had 3 children together. Bing Crosby died on October 14, 1977.
He died on the golf course in October of 1977 outside of Madrid. He had just played with a partner against 2 Spanish pros, and Bing and his partner beat them. And it said that his last words were, and it would be fitting if true, to the effect of, well, that was a great round of golf, fellas.
Over the course of his 51-year career, Bing Crosby made 1,600 records, sang on 4,000 radio shows, and appeared in more than 100 movies and 300 TV programs.